Hello, cats and kittens. Mama Cat Gamer here. We are continuing our journey through Heavensward with Gavtia. Glad I have my mic on. I am hearing myself. All right. That should be better now. I hope everything is looking okay here. All right, when last we left you, we're up at the story, the song begins. I also have stuff to turn in. We can do that later. For all the nights to come, we're going to definitely do that because I get an ether current off of it. Not easy being green. That'll wait until it just pops up in my MSQ. Ultimate Ballad. That's I think a Savage version? I don't know. But the song begins, level 55. It would seem that Istinian cannot rest until he has prized the truth from Hraesvelgr, and he would have Lady Iceheart present to hear the final chapter of the tale, travel to Zenith in the churning mist, and seek out Izael. Alright, I also have job quests that I really need to do before we do much else. So we're going to go to Thanalan. Well, we're in Thanalan technically, but we're near my FC house. Looking at what that other quest is, it's taking the red. That's a red mage job quest. Well, if it ain't Gav, you headed in? Yes, I am. Does Herman have anything new to say? If the boss says your family, then your family. Let's put that bastard in the dirt, eh? For our negus. Alright, what does Drusilla have to say to us? She seems rather relieved to see you walk through her door unscathed. Glad to see Orcus hasn't sunk his teeth into you yet, Gav. Don't go thinking he's given up on trying, though. He's out there savoring you from a distance. Can't resist checking in on his prize, just as he can't resist seeking out morsels to tide him over till his feast. The reports we've received of a man pale as death skulking about the sands is proof of that. Herman says, and then there's the matter of this blunted dagger. We don't know who sent it, but we do know what it means. Drusilla says, it's a warning commonly used by the less savory elements in Ul'dah. A warning that the next will be delivered sharp and straight to our bellies. Herman says, more fool them. They've no notion of what we've faced and lived, thinking we'd soil our small clothes over empty threats. Drusilla says, let's hope it's nothing more than that, lass, seeing as we need to follow up on these reports sooner than later. Anyone fancy a bit of fresh air? If we catch a whiff of Orcus's small foul stench, all the better. Gav, I want you to ask around near Black Brush Station, and I'll head to Stone's Throw. When you're done, meet me there, and We'll share what we've dug up. Let's just port over there. Oh, let's eat an egg too, so we get the XP. Yeah, way too much junk in my inventory. I'm gonna have to take care of that soon. You got caught. I'll have to read that in a while. You got caught fondling the foreman's daughter. I recognize that as self-assured stride, the mark of a man ready to take on the world and then some. You must be the Eorzean Reaper the boss sent word about. I'm almost disappointed to tell you nothing is amiss. The soldier in me would have loved to see a Reaper in action. I once fought in the Imperial Army, though you wouldn't think it to look at me now. I served proudly under Lord Valens in my youth until the day he ordered us to use common folk as fodder in some pointless skirmish. I refused and was sentenced to death for my candor. Needless to say, I didn't keep that appointment. You can meet Lord Valens later. He's a real peach. One of my least favorite characters ever. We'll go through that storyline. It's a really good story. Compared to that, evil, toothless threats and ghosts are no bar. Let me just try that again. Compared to that, evil, toothless threats and ghosts are no bother. But the less jaded are more excitable. One lass in particular has been jumping at shadows. She claims to have seen all manner of terrors, but I suspect she'd be startled by her own reflection. Still, if you want to lend an ear to her delusions, you can find her in Lost Hope. Alright, speak with the elegant woman. Let's fly on over there. Hello! Who are you? Oh, did Drusilla receive my missive? She's sent someone to rid us of this terrible evil waiting in the wings. Truly, she cares for us as if we really were her own flesh and blood, which is more than I can truly say about my own. Not once have I longed to return to the life of comfort I left behind in Garlemald, and I have Drusilla to thank for that. She isn't the reason I left home in the first place, of course. Had I not met my beloved, I would likely still be feasting on lemon cakes in ignorance. In ignorance of love, of freedom, I found the former in Garlemald, and the latter in Eorzea, as our new life blossomed into something beautiful. Not every day has been easy, not even most days, but Drusilla's watchful eye has kept us safe, and our freedom is worth any measure of hardship. Such terrible fear gripped my heart when my beloved told me of the pale man he spied on the sands. But now that the family has come to help, I can breathe a sigh of relief. I'm sure you wish to know precisely where to find that horrid creature, but I cannot help half as so well as my beloved might. Seek him in the southeast, and pray, put an end to this nightmare. I hope he hasn't gotten that guy. I hate giving bad news, even if it's to NPCs. Lithe the Dandy is his name. Kind of cute. The leg warmers are kind of weird, though. I mean, shades of early 80s there. Through deviled mists, the hunter doth now tread, tracking the scent of quarry others dread. In darkest night cry for a keeper. Lo, by your side he walks, the reaper. Ah, apologies for the effusive display, friend. I'm a poet, you see, and cannot resist putting into words the flood of emotions that accompanies such a striking figure as yours. Heck? Monster! Blood-sucked void scent. The bloodlust emanating from this void scent is potent and powerful. Let's go get him. Does he say anything else? There are more pressing matters at hand? I never saw that before, ever. Alright, we defeated him. Thank you, thank you, thank you, my savior, my godsend. Would that I could have aided you, but alas, a poet's pen is of little use in battle. Unless, of course, that battle involves not swords and scythes, but words. Just ask the sire of my beloved, who is even now licking the wounds dealt by the invective verse I composed after he had the gall to forbid our union. A masterwork of scathing metaphor and subtle remonstration. Alas, for all their pretensions, nobles are anything but subtle in their rage. We were forced to flee, to abandon our homes with only our love for sustenance. Nevertheless, I've regretted not a single moment of our life in exile. In Eorzea, we found an unexpected treasure, freedom. Freedom of mind and freedom of heart. But I digress. Surely you did not seek me out simply to save my life and leave with a nod and a smile. Did you wish to commission a poem? The Pale Man? I encountered him whilst wandering these arid wastes in search of inspiration. I felt the gaze of some terrible presence upon my back, and when I turned to meet it, he was standing there, grinning like a butcher in a bullpen. He wore robes much too thick for these scorching sands, and his eyes looked as if it had never been kissed by the blazing sun. Worst of all, his eyes were as two bottomless pools of blood. Let me try that again. He wore robes much too thick for these scorched sands, and his skin looked like... I'll try it a third time. He wore robes much too thick for these scorched sands, and his skin looked as if it had never been kissed by the blazing sun. Worst of all, his eyes were as two bottomless pools of blood. I feared my end had come, but then he vanished as quickly as he had appeared. Perhaps I've been reckless. Recent incidents make it clear that the cost of inspiration is higher than I'm willing to pay. I shall return to my beloved for both my safety and hers. Thank you again, my savior. Speak with Drusilla and Stone's Throw. It's flying down there. Trying to look at my mount. This is the Managarm. Alright, Drusilla's over here. like how, when it rains, your clothing looks wet. That's kind of cool. That's a nice little touch there. Drusilla says, there you are, and... Another one of his accursed minions. Well, I suppose we can take comfort in the fact that none of the family came to harm, yourself included. Well done. Speaking of which, what do you think of this family you've been thrust into? Speak freely. I haven't lived this long by taking offense at opinions I don't want to hear. You could say, I'm surprised you've all survived this long. Seems like any other family to me. Doesn't matter what I think, does it? Say, I'm surprised you've all survived this long. Takes more than brute strength for folks to survive. None of them were fit for life under the Empire's boot, and that's good enough for me. Much as some enlightened types might tell you otherwise, people like to have a say in the life they lead. That's what separates us from those bugs over there. Born queens, workers, or drones, bred into roles ingrained so deeply they wouldn't know how to live otherwise, for the glory and prosperity of the hive. But we've got it in us to be different. Might be born into farming, soldiering, or politicking, but we can choose to walk a different path whenever the fancy should strike. Tain't in our nature to accept our lot without question. No, we have to believe in something, put our faith in it. Only then will we deign to march in step. And indeed, faith of a savage stripe is one way to get us dancing to the same tune. Others might be compelled through faith in logic or law, intangible, invisible, yet cause enough for killing and conquering if it suits the queen. The invaders have... let me try that again because I didn't realize he was saying it. The invaders have sullied our birthright for 8 centuries. No longer. We march for Locus Aminus. With a few righteous words, his radiant Solus, Zos Galvus, whipped the hive into a frenzy. Once that fire is burning, the passion of the masses can't soon be quelled. What was once a wish for home became a holy mission to spread enlightenment. Enlightenment that would not suffer such beliefs as the beastmen held. Countless scores rendered up their lives on the altar of empire until an entire continent was united under a single Magitech fist. For those who still dreamed the dream of unity, a deed worthy of song. Yet, some awoke to see it for the tyranny it was, my grandfather Rulus included. The talents of the Reapers are passed down through bloodlines. Rulus was the best of us, the most accomplished and feared in the Order's long history. The duty of the Reapers, our role in the hive, if you will, was to deliver our countrymen from corrupt and power-hungry tyrants. When Garlemald found religion in conquest, its appetite grew to be insatiable. My grandfather pondered this conundrum for many sleepless nights and came to a decision. He would relieve Solus Zos Galvus of his life. It's like, whoa. 20 years ago, he slipped into the deepest chambers of the Imperial Palace, silent as a shadow, until he could hear the Emperor's beating heart. Yet when Rulus returned to me, Solus was alive and well. My grandfather, on the other hand, had a skittishness to his step, and his black hair had turned a pale white. He said naught of his encounter with the Emperor, save that the most powerful man in Garlemald was no man at all. Shamed in his defeat, my grandfather sought greater power, bit by bit. He gave more of himself over to the void scent behind his avatar. Orcus struck when Rulus was weakest, taking his flesh and soul in one fell swoop. When he was finished, not a mote of my grandfather remained in that body. There was only Orcus. The fiend flew into a rapturous frenzy, and my family were his first victims. I remember the chill of his teeth sinking into my flesh, gnawing until they reached my very essence. Ooh, that's creepy. Ooh. How am I standing here before you then? Oh, Orcus gorged on a soul that night, but it wasn't mine. Not exactly. It was my avatar that filled his belly. Seems that was all he could stomach. Some might consider that a lucky twist of fate, but I had little time to ponder my fortune, fled soon as I was able. His radiance never looked kindly on those trying to end his life or their families. I wandered about for years until I settled here and started seeking out others like me, others who had awoken from the Empire's dream. Lemirs is what we call the spirits of the dead in the Garlean tongue. A fitting moniker if there ever was one. Waking up from a long sleep ain't unlike climbing out of the grave. I can attest to that. Son of a bleeding. Remind me not to give such long-winded speeches when the sand is blowing in my face. Even though it's raining out, right? I'm heading back for some ale. See you at headquarters. Alright, let's go back and finish off the quest. Well, if it ain't Gav, you heading in? Yeah. Welcome back, boss. How was the family? Drusilla says shaken, but unharmed aside from some tousled hair and mangled verse. Orcus left one of his minions behind as a gift, but Gav made quick work of it. Herman says, I always said he was a keeper. You have an eye for the fierce of heart. I wager he could slay Orcus all on his own. Not that we'd let him take all the glory. This cute little smile there. Of course we wouldn't. We'd all be there when Orcus tries to take his prize. I don't think we'll be waiting long either. Orcus said he'd strike when Gav was ripe with fear and hatred and despair. Seasonings he's loath to forego. I've an inkling how he might try to draw out those emotions and finish off a half-eaten meal besides. Orcus says, right you are, Drusilla. How many nights did you mourn your lost avatar? The wellspring of your power? I must say it was quite the dish. Ah, I think not. Move so much as a finger and her head will hit the floor. Oh, that's it, Gav. That fire. I want to see it burn. I want to see it rage. I want to see the hatred seep into the depths of your soul. Shall I make this Drusilla's final breath? Or this one? It is so very hard to choose. I was right not to give in to my baser instincts, to allow the thought of your taste to simmer in my mind as you and Drusilla formed a bond, a kinship even. Born from an understanding of her inconsequential ideals, that you may better appreciate the bitter loss. But perhaps I should wait a while longer to let the flavor of your hatred mature and the tang of your malice ripen. I can make use of Drusilla yet, revel in her screams, exult in her misery. Ah, how splendid it will be. All the while, my prized piglet growing fat with loathing and succulent with terror. Patience rewards the dutiful gourmand. After all, when your tantalizing flavor is fully matured, I shall return and I shall reap my harvest. Damned void-sent bastard, soulless piece of shite. We could say, we need to think, Herman. Swive that sodding demon spawn. Orcus is going to pay for this. I gotta say, swive that sodding demon spawn. That's the spirit. Right, we need a plan. First thing first. Find out where Orcus is hiding. The rest of the family should be able to help with that. In the meantime, you need to prepare. I know you're good, Gav, but we can't leave the boss's life to chance. Sharpen your skills in your scythe, then sharpen them once more. The boss can do naught against Orcus without her avatar. That means you'll have to do the heavy lifting. Of course, I'll do what I can to afford you an advantage. You can count on that. For Drusilla. Ooh. Oh, and Shroud. Yes, I really, really want this skill. Herman seems to be in a fit of pique, her anger directed at something you cannot see. Name the killing art. When I get my hands on him... Oh, Gav. Listen, we've found out where the boss is being held, but I'm warning you, the how of it isn't pretty. An envelope arrived at headquarters this morning. I opened it and inside was... Shite. Inside was a letter written blood. There's no doubting whose it was. Arcus is reveling in his own cruelty. The letter said he's waiting for us at the dusk vigil. Gods know what he's doing to her now. I've called on every able-bodied member of the family for this one. We're heading out as soon as everyone's assembled. We're here, Herman, and more are waiting outside. We're ready to repay the debt we owe Drusilla, with our lives if we must. Lithe dandy, with souls courageous, hearts of hardened steel, for leaders' sake, for family's ideal, Into the demon's lair they soon shall tread, to end his terror foul, his reign of dread. The boss would beam with pride to see this group of cold-blooded killers. All right, Gav, we're ready when you say the word. We could say, this is a job for a Reaper, and a Reaper alone. Or, face Orcus and you won't be coming back. First one. What? Now, we might not hold a candle to the likes of you, but we've got skills. You'll need someone to distract Orcus, right? Then you can move in for the kill while his back is turned. Don't tell us to stay here with our thumbs up our arses while the boss is suffering. You could say, don't make me repeat myself, or Drusilla wouldn't want you throwing your lives away. Well, the sassy one would be the first one, but I like the second one better. Seems more Gav. What do you know about what she wants? Loyal Lemire says, Herman, listen, maybe he's right. Herman says, I know he's right, gods damn it. Doesn't mean it doesn't chafe. The boss wouldn't trust just any man with the Reaper's arts, and Gav has proven himself worthy time and again. Herman says, if you're going alone, take that with you. For the boss. No self-respecting Reaper can reap without their scythe. Now go and make Orcus rue the day he crossed into this world. It's gonna make him rue the day. Now, if I remember, there are some important mechanics to take into account, so I'm going to look that up real quick. Okay. Killing Art, wait at the designated location near Banepool. Which is in Kurthus. Okay. Why do they gotta make us, like, fly all over BFE? I'm gonna go to Tailfeather. That'll actually be faster. Ooh. Well, that's kind of cool. Little mini geyser there. I don't know what we're supposed to do with this one. You know what? We'll come back to this later. I think we'll probably do is, you know, an easygoing stream one time where we just go around looking for the vistas and different lookout points. So that'd be a good time to do that one. Got a notification that OBS had disconnected briefly, so I wanted to make sure that we were still on. All right, video quality just dropped like a rock, I think. I'm gonna stop the stream and reboot because I have to do that to get this stream from being super laggy. So